Hello, YouTube fam. How y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. This is Uncle Tim Rants and Reviews, a channel where I rant and I review. I'm your host, Uncle Tim. When God created the earth, He created the moon, the stars, the sun, the firmament, and He made everything inside. I look at everything, man, and they keep trying to tell us that we don't live on the stage, that we're not being controlled, that this world that we live in is the Matrix, bro. It really is. We're not being told the complete truth about any damn thing. Our reality is false. Back when shit was real, they orchestrated a way to try to change it. These billionaires, most of them are not even probably human. And they're running the world, man, and they're creating pathways, pathogens, viruses, illnesses to stop us, to stop our growth, to stop our life, to do every damn thing to us, bro. But yet instead, we persevere and stand strong. Brother, the pandemic was a lesson. It was what you call training. They wanted to see if they can stop the world. And in the process, would anybody, protest? For the most part, no, nobody protested. For the most part, nobody did anything. For the most part, people stood in their homes. And, some of them got free rent, some got unemployment in amounts they never received before. $32,000 a year for like 2 years. And I'm like, wait, hold on. That's more than some people make at a regular job. You look at it, there are side effects from this vaccine that we were given, man. Side effects from some of everything. It's not like the illness that they told us about was just, found. No, this thing had been in effect for a very long time. And it was able to be stopped with just wiping counters and bleach and, disinfectant spray. But all of a sudden, we were wearing dollar masks, and we were told that that would stop something that was killing more people than anything. And people went along with it like it was gospel. And I'm like, a dollar mask can stop people, can stop any damn thing, huh? Man, as we look up, we pay attention. We look into the stars. They send rockets into space, allegedly. And when they hit the firmament, you see a ripple effect. You see like something hitting something, and you see the effects on the outside of the actual firmament. You see the water moving. It's parting. It's rippling off. The way out is not through space. It's through the ocean. Three-Eye Atlas is coming through the water, bro. It's not coming from space. It's already in the water. And if they're showing you images of space, dude, it's fluid. Space is fluid. That's water out there. Dude, we are surrounded by a dome. I believe back in biblical times, the firmament cracked. For some reason, it cracked. And it flooded the earth. 40 days and 40 nights of nothing but endless rain. No, the firmament broke. It drained. No, we did not stay on the same firmament, man. Dude, that's what Noah's Ark was. Noah's Ark wasn't a vessel like you think it is, like some ship that you think you see in like, a harbor. No, it wasn't some big mass wooden structure. This was a flying saucer. It was a spaceship. It took them into another firmament. This firmament that we're in, brother, I believe there were all type of creatures living here. There were giants. There were dinosaurs, Nephilims, and all of this other stuff. Man, this world, the trees were gigantic. The oxygen in this realm was really, really something. It was damn near 80, 90%. Now the oxygen is what, at like, shit, 30 to 40? I don't know if that's right. Don't quote me on that. But I know back then, things grew bigger. And it was because of the oxygen in the environment. It caused shit to grow big. That's why plants were so much bigger. The trees were so much bigger. Now you look at the world that we live in and they tell you, oh man, there are aliens and there's this been living under the sea. Oh, there are real mermaids. Then you hear about the mermaid dinner. You know, you have to qualify to get on that list. And, you know, people are saying, well, you know, that was something created by Sora. Fam, do you not think that there are mermaids? Dude, do you not think people are eating fucking people? If a mermaid has the basic anatomy of a human, why the hell are we eating other humans? It's because we have this weird fixation on eating shit, you know, and trying to have some sort of different, you know, perspective about everything, man. We're changing. We're evolving. What's happening is the consciousness is not being, you know, challenged. It's being basically diluted. We're being dumbed down. A lot of the stuff that they told you in the history books, it's all a lie. Bruh, the Civil War wasn't about what they said it was. The war from 9/11 wasn't about what we thought it was. The Vietnam War wasn't about what we thought it was. Um, World War II wasn't exactly, wasn't at all what they said it was about. And when they dropped the bombs on Hiroshima, that wasn't what that was about either. When they dropped those nuclear bombs, it was about something totally different. Fam, what we're being told is fabrications. We're being told lies. We're being told some of everything, bro. And I'm going to tell you, the thing that you got to look at, and I go all the way back to the moon landing over and over again. I said in the beginning of each video, who fucking built the damn camera that was on the moon already? On Earth, you need a launch pad. You need rocket boosters to get up. You need to get off into space. You need thrusters. I understand. How do we know that there's no atmosphere in space? Now, see, the thing is, to get through all those layers allegedly that this Earth has, that means you would damn near disintegrate going out. But you telling me you're able to get through. Okay, that's one. Then you tell me somehow in space, this rocket, this ship flies all the way to the moon. It docks, it, you know, undocks from the ship, whatever, and it lands on the moon, right? The actual post on this thing look like stop sign poles. And you thinking to yourself, a rover came out, people came out, all this other equipment came out, right? Then you wondering, how is the flag, you know, waving in space? But you know what? That could be passed, that could be passed off by particles hitting the flag, that, move through the thing. But you're telling me when the actual moonlander took off, it didn't leave no scorch marks. Here on Earth, you need a landing pad, you need all these other facilities in order to get off. And I understand the moon's supposed to be light. They're supposed to have less gravity, right? But you seen how the people was bouncing on the moon, right? They didn't get up very high. But if the moon has less gravity than they say that, we have here, they should have been bouncing extremely high because there's no gravity whatsoever. But no, you come to find out that this shit was filmed somewhere on a soundstage. It was like directed by some famous producer. And, I don't know how true that is, but when you sit back and start looking at this stuff and realizing that this makes absolutely no sense, this begs to differ, and I always talk about the moon landing because the moon landing is something that make you think. NASA is to deceive. NASA is something that doesn't really look at space. It's looking at the water. And notice once you get up there, it notices water up there. So the thing is, there's a lake underneath the ocean floor, at the ocean floor. And there are in the Mariana Trench, there's doors where they found out there's doors down there. What the doors do? The doors are pulsing. They're trying to find out what's down there. Dude, it's been glowing for a while underneath the oceans in Florida. Some seeing ships and everything else flying out of the water. Dude, what is going on? How is it that we don't understand what's at play? Because we are not a privy. These billionaires and millionaires, they disguised a way to have us to stop looking at the stars. To be honest, the U.S. is the true Egypt. The U.S. has pyramids. The U.S. has Sphinx. You know, just like Sphinxes are all over this world. They make it seem like this world was somehow just in one area. You know, Egypt was this and that. No, there are tombs found everywhere. There are alien crafts found on this planet all the time. And the inhabitants are not always dead. Do you know they're taking these people back, doing God knows what to them? And you wondering why some of these creatures are hostile? Shit. You know, who says that Bigfoot wasn't from another planet? Who says that Bigfoot and Dogman are not interdimensional beings? You know, because sometimes they be cloaked. And that's the funny thing about it. They be out in Predator look like cloaking. And you know, dude, this shit has been seen so many damn times. What did you think they got the cloaking thing from Predator? Dude, they seen that somewhere. Bro, it's real. There are portals on this planet that lead to other dimensions, other realities, other firmaments, bro. Some people say that this is hell. You are born into this dimension, whereas if you put on certain paraphernalia, you could actually see the shit that's around us. You get it? They're not telling you the truth. They don't care. They never have. Bruh, this stuff they put into our body, it's killing us. You know, there are more people who are developing illnesses and, you know, situations where they weren't developing before. People say back in the day, you know, back in the 1900s, people were sickly and they fell out all the time and they died. No, they didn't. People are dying now. People are not living longer. Not because of common medicine. When you are born, your body is a Mack fucking truck. It's at 100%. Your immune system don't need anything in it to fix it. What happens is your body corrects this shit. But guess what? When you put all this metal into our system, it's contaminating our healing factor. You ever seen the X-Men's Wolverine? We don't heal like him, but we heal. Our body readjusts itself to get rid of the toxins and all this stuff, man. But guess what? In order for us to actually understand what's actually happening, you sit back and say, hey, then why can't we get rid of the toxins? Because you got something else happening. Our food is contaminated. Our air is contaminated. Our water is contaminated. Hell, the stuff that we wipe our butt with is contaminated with, what is that, embalming? What is that? Some sort of chemical, man. You know, you're putting this on your precious area and you telling me this shit is on there? Bro, it's real how they're actually doing this. Our food contains shit that don't even need. We got food dyes that actually cause cancer. We have so much stuff that cause cancer. They was telling, oh, don't use Dawn dish soap because it causes cancer. Dude, every damn thing causes cancer nowadays. Combing your hair. It was a study done a long time ago. Combing your fucking hair causes cancer. What type of shit is that? That's something that I want you to think about. And I want you to pay attention. The reason why we stay sick is because it's something in the air. Bro, our weather changes so much. And to be honest, it's not just the weather changing. They're changing the weather. They're controlling the weather. They're controlling all of this. And you know what? You look at G.I. Joe Classified, not G.I. Joe Classified, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, when Destro had the Weather Dominator. That's what this is. Somebody has a weather machine. Dude, time travel existed a long time ago. This is why at every event that went down in history, there's something dastardly done happen. You see some strange ass person taking pictures somewhere. And they never could find that person. In a lot of these cases, they couldn't find this person because this person was on a sightseeing tour of all the tragedies that was committed or, happened in this reality. You know, when I talk about time travels, I believe a lot of people come from different dimensions, man. When you veer off and create time travel, it's like the multiverse. There's another branch that's created. Another thing that stems out because you're creating something, different now, man. And you know what? You honestly believe that portals wasn't created? They found portals going back from like the 17 and the 1600s. Dude, a guy created a portal out of like a ball and some sort of magnet gauge and just had it spinning, and a portal was opening above it. Do you realize, brother, if he can do that, what are they doing? Do you realize that our water is disappearing? And I think a lot of people don't see that. The water levels are down. But now all of a sudden, all of this rain and all of this stuff, all this flooding, it's hiding the fact that the water was disappearing, fam. I keep talking to people about, they finding stuff in the food now. They're finding gold teeth and silver crown tooths, teeth rather, in food. How's that possible? Unless the meat is made of something else. Brother, I'm going to tell you something. I don't see farm areas where I see millions of cows at. I looked it up all over the internet. I looked at Google Earth, Google Map. I was trying to find places where all of this is happening, but there's none. To feed this amount of people, do you know how many people McDonald's feed in a day? But y'all sitting here telling me, you ain't right. What you saying is wrong. No, it's not wrong. What's happening is reality done stepped in and showing you that all these missing people, they going missing real hard. All the homeless encampments that I've been seeing, I used to see tons of homeless people. I started seeing some of the damn migrants come up missing. Dude, where are these people going? Do these detention centers really exist? Where are these people going? Like I said once before, they found on the back of a truck human body parts. What was that going to? They were like palletized. Where's this shit going to? Fam, this shit is not fake. This shit is real. We are in Soylent Green. We're in that movie where they're eating us. And you know what? We haven't even noticed. None of that. We don't even care about none of that. The reality that we live in, man, is changing. Keep thinking. Keep paying attention. I want you to understand that what we doing here and what I talk about is just not me talking. It's reality, bro. Look around you. Pay attention. You see people doing strange shit all the time. You see people doing shit that don't make sense. You see people in random areas, man. You see people who live in apartment buildings who live by their damn self. I was watching this one guy's video and he said, man, I live in this building and somebody put Chinese menus on the doors, right? So I removed mine. And, as I go down, the hall in this apartment building, they all there. None of them left. He said, I was sitting here thinking, like, what's going on? Maybe people are, at work, but, sooner or later, somebody gonna come home. So he said, I pulled a smoke detector. And do you know, nobody came out of no apartments? I was the only one leaving outside. Dude, it's letting you know. They're testing us. We're like guinea pigs for things. And, there are islands off the coast, in certain places where this reality that we live in right now, haven't touched the people on those damn islands. Some people are living on islands that they live in the 40s, and some they live in the 50s. Some they live in the 60s. Why? Because they're seeing the certain effects and what it would have if you take away, like, the internet and all of that. Dude, there's certain places you can't even fly over for various reasons. See, this is the thing that I want you to pay attention to. This is the thing I want you to understand. We live in a society, man, where shit is just wild. Dude, when I talk about the moon, it's just like the sun. The heat from the sun is too damn pronounced. If we that far from the damn sun, why is the heat that damn high? We're not that far away from the sun. The sun is in here with us, just like the moon is. I don't think the moon or the sun is actually real. I believe these are devices, to make light 1 minute and day the next. I mean, light 1 minute and darkness the next. The moon is for the dark and the sun is for the light. And I think that whoever created this firmament, because some of these firmaments look like we live in a human's body or in a body of our creator. It's been, sayings, it's been studies done that, looking through some of the telescopes, it says that, you can see like the outlines of like a human body or whatever. Bro, what if we are just cells? What if the firmament we in is cells going through a body? And what we see outside is water because the actual human body or whatever we in, per se, is made of water. So think about it. When you believe you truly know something, you really don't. Why do the rich keep this from us? Because back in the day when they were talking about Antarctica, Antarctica is something totally different. The placement that we are on the globe, that's not accurate, that's not real. We are placed in an area that, think about it. I want you to understand. If we are on planes, why do planes got to fly a different route? They got these flight plans where they got to fly this way and fly that way. If we actually, where we are, you should be able to fly and make it right to that destination. We're not where we are. See, all of that's been a lie. Oh, one thing about the moon. One guy did a video. He caught it. Whereas it was like on one day, I think it was Halloween or one thing, he seen that like a door opened up on the moon and like smoke came out of it. How is that? Then in certain instances, you can see faces watching us from space or wherever. Dude, are we some sort of lab experiment? Are we in a zoo? See, the thing is, we don't know. We're too busy fighting one another, amongst one another, to actually understand what's going on. See, the thing is, we could have been found out what's happening on this planet if we all work together. But again, we sow the seed to each other that even, that you are better than me, I'm better than you, or, all that shit, we all people. And soon as we get it into our head that we all one and we got to work together to get past all this shit, bro, there are so much a landmass here in the United States. And they telling us we running out of space to put people. That's the biggest lie ever told. There's so much space, but guess what? What is living in those areas that they don't want us to see? There's things, they tell us, oh, it's a carbon monoxide leak. They cleared whole towns. They cleared villages. They cleared, certain places. Dude, and you come back and you be like, there was no carbon monoxide, there was no gas, there was no radiation. You come to find out what the fuck is really going on. There's other things there. But see, the thing is, certain things they can mess with and certain things they don't. In New Orleans, it's on ley lines. And in New Orleans, there's a lot of weird energy. There's a lot of different creatures in New Orleans. New Orleans has a energy about it that is so wild, bro, that you could feel it. It's like LA. You could feel like the negativity. And this is why certain people don't like to go. My friends, my wife's friend, they went to New Orleans and they were at the cemetery and she got pricked by this thorn in this cemetery. And ever since then, she thought she'd been cursed. They had saged her. They did every damn thing to her. But nothing, stops. It just seemed like a whole bunch of negativity has been occurring. This is why I say you stay away from places you don't know. Stop trying to go places and get pictures in negative areas, bro. If the area's, been shown to be super negative, stay away from it. They do all these cemetery tours and shit like that. No, I'm good. I don't need to see negativity, bro. Shit, there are tons of cemeteries here. This is why I tell you, pay attention. Look at this. I want you to understand that we're not alone here. Dude, there are things other than evil human beings here. There's evil others here. And most of their job is just to fuck us over. Bro, sometimes you don't see the negativity. If you got plants in your house and you start noticing them dying and all of that, and you are watering them, you're giving them whatever they need, sunlight and plant food, bro, it's something negative there. And the plants absorb the negativity. Remember, shit is real, fam. But till later, thank you for watching. Peace out.